All right, y'all. What's going on, man? We is back with another one. Now, before we get this video started once again, man, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys share the video. We have North Carolina Central versus Alabama State. Now, this game could be a preview of what we could see in the Celebration Bowl. Alabama State is predicted to win the East in the SWAC, and Central is predicted to win the MEAC. So they are saying that they are going to see this team in the Celebration Bowl. We'll see. I did have this team. Now, I had both of these teams in my top 10 leading up to this season. People thought that I was crazy for putting in 7th, that I should have put them higher. But I don't mean no disrespect because they're still in the top 10, you know? So, but with Central, so they coming into this game with a new quarterback in Walker Harris. Now, I didn't see the game when they played versus Valley State last year. I didn't see that. And truthfully, I don't even think that was available to the viewing public in terms of, you know, television-wise. I don't know where the highlights are. I can't find anything. But he went off in that game in terms of what the stats say. Threw for over 300 yards, had 5 touchdowns, I believe, and he was even the MEAC Offensive Player of the Year. Or Player of the Week, I should say. I'm sorry. Player of the Week. So, he's going to be new QB1. He is coming in with some pretty good weapons. If we're starting at the running back position, Jamari Taylor, he is preseason, I think, first or second team on MEAC. And the thing that I like about him is he coming into this game, into this year, as the 4th leading receiver from last year. And granted, this team was a predominantly running team last year, you know, because of the 2 backs and the quarterback who can run. So, yeah, so I think with Jawan Taylor, I think they're looking for him to have a breakout year. He's going to be the running back 1 this year. And with some good quality weapons at the receiver spot in Jaquan Davis, Quentin Mikael Quick is looking to get more time this year. You got some new weapons coming in from Duke. Makai Wall, the receiver from Duke, and then you got the tight end coming from University of Tennessee, and Miles Campbell. I think he was actually a former 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Then you also got tight end transfer from Bethune-Cookman. I think it's Nabe Moore, I believe so. So, and then I'm interested to see what the offensive line looks like this year, because I know there was some good quality offensive line who had hit the transfer portal, one entered in the NFL. But yeah, I'm looking to see what this whole makeup of this offense looks like, because listen, this is going to be a totally different offense, especially with your main guys not being there from a year ago. And then defensive-wise, even though they did lose some pieces on the defensive side, they still have some real good weapons. Like you talking about, we're starting with Cole Jones and Max Urain at the linebacker spot, and then on the D line, Jaden Taylor, Makai McCall, Quintez Manfield. I think defensively, I think Central is going to be set this year. I think it's going to be the same as it was last year. They did give up quite a few points. They gave up too many points per game last year, but I think defensively, I think they're going to be better than last year. And offensively, I don't know. I'm being real with you. I really don't know. I'm interested to see what Walker Harris does look like as the full season as a starter. Because, listen, if you're only going by what they did versus Valley State, I can't buy that. Because Valley State was not a good team. And they probably just sat, the starter out because who they were playing against. So I'm not going to take that game into consideration because it's Valley State. So I am interested to see what he looks like with a full season as the starter. Because mind you, I don't think he's a better runner, than Darius was. I don't, So I mean, and he was sitting back for a year or two looking. So I think he's a junior this year. So Walker Harris is gonna have to show me something. And they play on Sunday, so it's interesting. Now let's get into Alabama State. And I think people are a little confused about the hype that is surrounding Alabama State. So let me try and put it in its proper perspective, and I want to try and see if y'all can view it from what everybody else is thinking. Now, it ain't just based off of what Alabama State has done in terms of recruiting wise and the players that are coming back from last year, but it's a combination of what everybody else in the SWAC looks like. Like, people don't think that FAMU looks better than last year. I don't think that they have the pieces that they have last year, even though I do like Daniel Richardson, though. I do like him a lot. I think he showed me quite a few things in that game versus Norfolk State. But in terms of the weapons, in terms of the offensive line and the defense as a whole and what they had, I don't think FAMU has what they had last year. So they're looking at that. They're also looking at Jackson State. They're looking at Bethune. Like, they're looking at everybody. And they're looking at what Alabama State is bringing back to the table. Because, mind you, I think defensively they only gave up 14 points per game while scoring 20 points a game. And then, on top of that, you're adding Andrew Body, who we all look at as a veteran in the SWAC. Now, I think he's probably the veteran quarterback, even though he's coming off of a season-ending injury. We know how good Andrew Body is. Matter of fact, his last full season, he threw for over 1,900 yards within 500 yards rushing. I think he had 25 to 30 total touchdowns the year, his last full season. Now, we is looking for him to make that leap into a conference championship, because I think it's time. I think that's what everybody is looking at. I think he's the best. I think he's probably the best quarterback in the division. I wouldn't say the entire conference, but we can say in the division, maybe. But Alabama State has some good quality weapons, starting with, I'll read it off. You have Marquise Harris, who I think is a preseason second team All-SWAC. Then you have AJ Gates, who's a transfer from UAB. I watched how reacted to his highlights. He looks pretty damn good. I like what he brings to the table. And then you got your receivers, Tyree Saunders, Asa Gregg, and I think Robert McKinn. Those receivers coming back from last year. And then you talk about your new weapons. You have Elijah Bean, who's a transfer from Baylor, who's 6'5". You also have another 6'5" receiver in I didn't put down his name, but he's from University of Montana. And then on the defensive side of things, you probably have the best linebacking core in the entire SWAC with Taquan Thomas and DeMarcus Cunningham. And then you add Rico Dozier into that mix. You're talking about a front seven who could possibly be number one defensively. Or, at least in stopping the run, they could be number one for sure. I think they definitely do have the best linebacking core in this SWAC. Now, I wouldn't say front seven because I don't know what the defensive line looks like. But the secondary definitely looks formidable. You have Amon Scarborough, James Burgess. I think that's his name, Burgess. And then you have some guys that they recruited. I like Trey Phillips got some time last year. He's looking to get some more minutes this year. New weapons. I think you have Caleb Alford from the University of Buffalo. Then you have 2011 from McNeese State. You also have Deshaun Jackson, who's a transfer from Air Force. So they're looking at the collection of talent that Alabama State accumulated, followed by the guys that that is coming back from last year. They're looking at that and saying, we think that this team is the best assembled, at least in the East. Now, it is difficult because I think that FAMU is gonna win the East, but that's a different topic. If we're looking on paper, I think that Alabama State is favored to win. I think that Alabama State is going to win the game. But, like we said, it's all about chemistry. It's all about who comes out fast, guns blazing, because we ain't seen neither of these teams play before. So it is going to be interesting to watch. Now, if Alabama State can come out and win this game convincingly, it's going to tell me a lot about Alabama State and how I feel about them. And I think the hype is warranted. Especially if, if the offense can match with their defense and what we think it may look like, then the hype is definitely warranted. But I do have Alabama State winning this game. I think this game is going to be very, very interesting to watch. And I can't wait to see it. And mind you, it's happening on Sunday. So I think it's one of the very few college games happening on Sunday. So I can't wait for it, man. And shout out to these two teams. I'll be watching front, close, and center.